and welcome back to HarpTube. My name's Haley Hewitt, and this is one of a series of oral learning videos for the harp put out by the Kilt&Harp, which is for the Scottish Harp Society of America. So today we're going to be learning a lullaby, which is one of my favorites. It's one of the first tunes I ever learned. It's common in Scottish repertoire, but it's originally from Northumberland, which is the north of England. So I'll play it for you, and then I'll teach the right hand and the left hand, and hopefully by the end of the video you can play it too. So first thing you should do is put your harp in the key of E minor, which is just F sharps. If your harp is tuned in E flat like mine is, that means putting up your E, F, A, and B levers for the whole harp. So here is Bonny at Morn. So that's the tune, and as you might have noticed, it's in two parts, A and B, which is pretty typical for Scottish tunes. I like this as a teaching tune because it incorporates a lot of open intervals, which are really good for learning placement and spacing. So for the right hand, let's get started. The first thing you need to know is a fifth, from E up to B. And for fifths, you use the fingers 3 and 1. If you're new to harp, try to make sure that your 2 isn't sticking up like this, because that's not good for your hand. So just let your 2 relax and hang down in the middle. So you got your E and B. First thing you play is your 3rd finger, and then your thumb. So that's your E fifth. Then you move your thumb up by 1 string to the C and place 2 and 3 right below on B and A. So you have a little ant right there. And you're going to play straight down. So your thumb first. Then you place your 5th again from E up to B, same notes, but this time you start with your thumb. So your first phrase is 5th up, and down, and then your 5th down. So together it sounds like this. If you feel ready to, and you'd like to develop this as a technique, you can connect between the 3 fingers and the next 5th by placing your thumb a little early. So place your thumb on the B to connect those 2 shapes. That might help it keep a little smoother rather than having to hop between the 2. So whatever you feel ready for. When I play it, I connect. Then, next phrase, you're going to place another 3-finger ant from F up to A, and so you play F sharp first. Then place a caterpillar, 4 fingers, 4 notes right in a row, from G down to D. So 3 up and 4 down. So that's the first half of the A part. And then the same first 3 little bits. So your 5th up again, your little ant going down, and your 5th going down again. Then you have a second ending. It starts similarly to your first ending, but it changes pretty soon. So you have your 3 notes going up from F up to A, 3, 2. Then before you play your thumb, you're going to place down a D triad, or a snowman, as I sometimes call it with my little children's students. So then you play your thumb. So that new phrase is F sharp, G, and A as your ant going up. Play 3, 2, then place a snowman down. So that's just a triad at the end there. And then your last 2 notes of the A part are F sharp and E. So that's all the material for the A part right hand. So together it sounds like this. So you play that twice, and that's your A part. So moving on to the B part. This also uses a nice big open interval, which is really good to learn for the harp. It's an octave. So for octaves, you use your 4th finger and your thumb. And just like with 5ths, try not to have those middle fingers sticking up like that, because that means your hand's really tense. So just relax and place your fingers. You don't need to grab them really hard or anything. Just have them sitting there on E, and that's your first interval of an octave. So you play your 4 first, and then your thumb. So that's your first 2 notes of the B part. Then you place that octave again, and play it down. Now try not to go and then just play your thumb and have to hop down to that bottom E. What you want is place your octave, play up, place your octave again, and play down. And those are all quarter notes, so it sounds like this. So you have to place it pretty quickly, so if octaves are new to you, you're going to have to practice that to get it quick enough. So those are your first 4 notes of the B part. And then you have 2 fingers to follow right after that, and they come up from that last note you played, that E, and it's just F sharp and G with 2 and 1. So your first phrase is then you kind of have a parallel phrase similar to a sequence but slightly different. The first note is the difference. So you'll see it when you learn it. Next is a 6th. Just like 5ths, you use 3 and 1, F sharp up to D, and again make sure your 2 isn't sticking up, and play your F sharp first. And then your next interval is a D octave, so place D and D with 1 and 4. So you have to switch between 3 and 1 to 4 and 1, and you play that straight down. And just like before, you come up with 2 more fingers, E and F sharp. So your second phrase is at this point you'll probably hear how similar that is to your first phrase of the B part. So those first 2 phrases sound like this. E octave, then F sharp 6th, and then a D octave, okay. Next comes probably the hardest part in the whole tune. It's certainly what my students struggle with the most. It incorporates a lot of difficult things, so it will take practice if it's new to you. First, place thumb and 4 on E and D. That will feel weird if it's your first time trying it, but you'll just get used to it. You play your thumb, and then you have to quickly place 3, 2, and 1 in a caterpillar, just like what you had before in the A part. So thumb, and then place your 4 fingers, and then play 4, before you play your thumb, you're going to cross under with your third finger to A. So that, again, if it's new to you, this will take practice. Play your thumb, and then before you play your 3, place 2 on B and thumb on E at the same time, so it'll look like that. And then A, B, E. So that incorporates a bunch of challenging concepts if they are new. Placing 1 and 4, placing 3 fingers at the same time quickly, crossing under with 3, when usually if you crossed under it will be with 4, but here it's with 3 because you only have 3 more notes to play. Play your thumb, and then placing 2 and 1 on B and E, which might feel weird to you at first. So that whole phrase eventually should sound like this. So you might notice that it's even 8th notes until you get up to that B, which is a quarter note. So you get kind of a breather at the end there. And then you're almost done. You have 2 more little bits. Next is what I call a seesaw. So D and B with 2 and 1. Play your thumb first, and then put it back on and play up again. So that's your little seesaw. And then your last little bit, just like the end of the A part, F sharp and E with 1 and 2. Okay, that's the whole right hand for the B part. All together it sounds like this. So you've learned the whole tune. Now it's time to get started on some left hand. So I teach a very, very basic left hand, and feel free to take it in whatever direction you like. This is just to get you started. It's just 2 different notes, E and D, and this is the pattern. 2 E's, 2 D's, 2 more E's, then 1 D and 1 E. And that's the same left hand for the A part and for the B part, so you only have to learn it once. So the counting is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's your pattern. And the way it fits is, for the most part, in the A part, it plays when your thumb plays. So here, and then again with your thumb, and then with your thumb here, move to a D. This time playing with your 4. Now back to your thumbs again. Thumb. And then with your thumb again. And then match with your E. So F sharp and E's. That's the A part. So just practice that. And then the B part, this time it's not with your thumbs quite as frequently. So starts with the first note of the B part. And then with the bottom E again. These 2 are on their own. Then the bottom notes of both of these intervals, F sharp. And then the bottom note of this, bottom D. These are on their own. Then here comes the hard part. So breathe easy, it just takes practice. You're going to play with your thumb. And then with that long B that you learned. And it's 2 E's in the left hand. So here. And here. And then with your seesaw, you're going to play this D with the B, the bottom bottom note of your seesaw. And then, just like the end of the A part, the two E's together. Okay, so you've learned right hand and left hand for Bonny at Morn. Feel free to take this whole thing and do whatever you like with it. This is just a starting point. So if you do end up getting creative with it, I'd love to see what you come up with. Just drop me a line. So until next time, thanks so much for joining me. Have fun.